here, Health Hacks Reviewed. I am reviewing right now the products from Solex, which is a direct selling organization that has a lot of uniquely manufactured products that you can have access to by joining or just as a normal customer. And there is a link below in the description. This product right here is their infrared gemstone mat. So if you saw some of my other videos, I did mention that there's a lot of good research out there for many years, many years, on different ways of getting infrared energy. Infrared is like an invisible wavelength. Okay, so unlike red wavelength, red is obviously red, you can see it like a red light. This is infrared. So it is a really small mat. As you can see, it's about the size of your thumb, so you can fit it in your pocket. I'm just joking. But basically, yeah, I was just thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool if I could make a bigger image appear, right? So I'm probably going to give them a little bit of feedback, like it would be cool if I could just scroll and make it bigger. Anyways, so infrared mats is what it sounds like. You're going to basically be lying down on this thing, all right? And there's horizontal tubes, okay, that go like this across the entire mat, which means what? That means that you can actually kind of roll or fold this mat up a little bit for transportation, okay? And it does come with like a carrying case and all that good stuff. So this type of design or this type of product has been around a long time. It was first really popularized and used in Korea, trickled over to Japan, China was there for a bit. One of the big companies that kind of made a name is Richway Biomat, which became an MLM, did very well, a lot of users. They really kind of spread the public awareness about infrared, but also infrared gemstones and infrared mats. So, and I was actually part of that company for a while. I do work with like 150 different companies in general, but so what else was I going to say about that? So essentially, if you are familiar with that or a few other brands out there with infrared mats, I have actually reviewed every single brand of infrared mat. That's what I do. I review products and things like that I do many things, but if you have any questions about just other brands out there, how it compares to this one, let me know. But the main things you got to really watch out for is if you want all those benefits, all those great benefits that we've learned in all the research studies from infrared energy, which remember, the most common source of infrared is from the sun, okay? So you can still get those same benefits you get in the sun inside the comfort of your own home. And you get a nice thermal experience, so it warms up your body. It's really nice in the wintertime especially. But the thing you got to watch out for, and I love Lauren, who is the main founder of this company. He has a lot of experience with manufacturing going on decades. So, you know, his infrared mat, for example, there's several manufacturers, okay, overseas that produce infrared mats. Not a million factories, but there's a few, okay? There's like 3 major factories, and they produce for, I don't know, 7 brands, whatever. 10 brands, depends if we're including the entire world. So Lauren knows all of them. He knows everybody, I swear, with manufacturing, all these types of different products. So he went with the best. Everything is custom in here by his request. So one area that was reinforced and bolstered is, you can't really see it in this photo, but where the plug goes into the mat, the power supply. This is a very common, if there is a common area where these things become dysfunctional or break down, I'm just talking about infrared mats in general, multiple brands. The main thing that happens most commonly is the control that you have here in your hand and the wire that goes to it. It becomes loose over time, and that needs to be repaired, okay? Or it's just a cheap wire. So that is one area that he actually did a really good job in bolstering, so it can really kind of get pretty beat up and hold a lot of wear and tear. You still always, if you want maximum longevity of it, and it could last you like as long as you want it to, honestly, just take real good care of the wire in general when you're folding it up or you're unplugging it, things like that. Don't like toss it around and cram and bend it, and you know what I mean? But he actually has a really good reinforced high quality electrical component right there. So I did appreciate that when I was reviewing and taking a look at it. The material itself, on it's like this, like fake sort of leather sort of material. It is really quite nice on this mat. It's very durable. It's actually quite comparable to the durability of a biomat, which is like one of the mainstream brands, which, the biomat company, just sidebar comment, they charge more for the cost of theirs than Solex is charging for this one. Also, when you the biomat does not include some of the other features what we'll go over in this one, so it's a fair amount more money basically, and you're getting less with a biomat. Long story short, okay. But yeah, the material quality is really quite nice on this, just really durable. Again, it's kind of like designed to last a long time. So what else was I going to say? So as we get into the infrared piece of this, if you guys don't know, there's multiple layers inside of this, okay? And some are like the heating layers, and then there's some layers that are like Faraday cages. They basically filter out electrosmog, bad electricity, dirty electricity. Have you ever heard of EMF sensitivities, or EMF, not being a good thing? There are layers in this mat that filter that out. So if you take like an EMF meter that measures electrosmog and stuff like that, and you test it while it's running, the infrared portion, okay, you will see that it's extremely low and safe, okay? So there's layers in there that protect you, okay, from that. As the mat heats up, the inside of those horizontal tubes, which I talked about, there are actual stones, okay? What stones? Amethyst, lapis lazuli, blue chalcot, I don't know how to say that one, whatever. Jade, but this is actually a higher grade of jade, which is, I'm not going to get far into it. Yellow agate, golden jade, red jasper. There are some very unusual stones in here. Also the grade, like the grade of the quality of these gemstones that Lauren uses is really good. There's a lot of areas where companies out there will cheap you, basically, in what they use. So if you use like a higher gemstone quality, you will actually get better properties out of them, especially as they get heated up, okay? And as this is a normal property of gemstones, is as they get heated up, or crystals or minerals, as they get heated up, they emit different sorts of frequencies. They actually vibrate, or oscillate, I should say, okay? And so they emit different sorts of properties that can become stimulatory to your cells, okay? So it's not just about the infrared wavelength, but it's also the interaction of infrared with the stones, and also the vibration or oscillation of the other mineral elements that are unique to each stone, okay? So what does that mean? We're talking about frequencies, okay? So there's 7 different well, there's more than 7 frequencies, but there's several different gemstones in here, okay, that basically are going to kind of give like a mix of different frequencies into the body. They can have different effects, all right? So this is a very unique mat in terms of being able to offer you all of these different stones. So that's one thing. The other that's unique is PEMF, okay? Are there other infrared mats out there that have PEMF included? Yes, okay? I believe there's at least 3, at least, at this point. But now is where it gets complicated. So if you want some more advanced, if you have some more advanced questions and things like that, you can reach out to me anytime through my website, or just directly below the video. And or you get basically custom coaching and things like that inside of my Solex team, and you have a link below in the description. But basically, Lauren has worked actually a lot with a couple leaders in the field of PEMF. And he did not just like throw in some super cheap PEMF system, which is basically what a couple of the other factories do in these other infrared mat brands out there. He has something that actually is specially designed that is unique here. One thing is that what they refer to as, here it is down here, traveling electromagnetic fields. So inside of this mat, you're going to have like separate coils, like little coils of wires, okay, in different regions. Okay, so they cover the field of your body. There's a lot to this as far as like how that coil is designed, first off. So there's not like a bleed out of a field, so you're wasting energy and it's more concentrated in the body. So there's ways to basically compare PEMFs out there, both PEMFs like standalone products that just do PEMF therapy, and then also comparing to like PEMF included with infrared, like with these mats. So there's a lot to break down here. But basically, if you do see PEMF with these other brands out there, they're using like really old school coils, long story short, okay? And they're not very efficient. And they bleed out a lot of excessive energy out the sides that don't go into your body, okay? That's part of it, and they don't create a very strong resonant field, all right? So there's a lot to talk about with coils. So we are using some of the latest coil designs in here. Also the traveling magnetic field, what does that mean? So that is something, again, that just is something that is more costly and more of an advanced feature that actually not all PEMF, even standalone PEMF products have, or the PEMF that are included with other infrared brands. What that means is that if you have multiple coils in here, one coil may get active, and then it'll pop over to another coil, then another coil, and then maybe this one will activate here, and then this one will activate down here, and then this one will go over here, and then this one will alternate over here. In other words, it's moving in specific configurations. And what that does is it keeps your body guessing. Where is the amplification of energy going to come from next? Why is that important? Because if you don't do that, and it's like a constant output through the same setting, same coils the whole time, within a very, very short window of time, the brain will start to ignore the frequency. It'll just start to ignore it, which means with repeated usage, you'll get like no effects, basically. The brain will be like, whatever, ignore these frequencies, they're not useful, it's just noise. It literally treats it like noise. You ever have an experience where you hear some noise in the background, and then after a while you're focused on something else and you stop hearing it, and then all of a sudden you hear it again, and you're like, oh my God, it's been there the whole time, I totally forgot it was there, right? So the brain does that with all kinds of things, from smells in rooms to frequencies of all kinds of forms. So it's really important that you have a traveling magnetic field. This is something that was developed actually in Russian PEMF research back in the 70s and 80s. And it's just a super essential thing. There's honestly a lot more to discuss as well, but they didn't want to overwhelm people with a whole bunch of technical stuff, essentially, because PEMF can get a little technical, okay? So, long story short, if you're looking for an infrared mat combined with a really good PEMF field, better than what else is out there as far as combos go, combo modalities, we do use a really good PEMF in here. So when they talk about 4 variable frequencies in regards to PEMF, they're talking about those coils and how fast they pulse, okay? So if they pulsed like 3 times a second, for example, 3 hertz, okay? What does that mean? So first off, they say 3 hertz to 23 hertz. That's the range, okay? So it might be 10 hertz. Might be, one might be 10 hertz. One might be 15. You get the point, okay? So there's a range here, all right? And that range is, a few of these different frequencies have been studied in the PEMF research field for having different effects in the body. One nice thing is, like, a lot of people are using these mats to try to get their parasympathetic nervous system. That's like the rest, relaxation, regeneration part of the nervous system and metabolic functions. They're trying to bolster that part. So sometimes some of the settings here electromagnetically can help with that. Regeneration, speeding up tissue healing, helping with pain, helping with circulation a little bit, speeding that up. And then also there are some lower frequencies here that are really good at like nighttime when you're trying to wind down, like get into an alpha state, a theta state, a delta state. you can basically, through your nervous system and through the pulsations, especially with the infrared and that heat, you can really get your brain to go into a slower brain state, basically. And that makes it easier to fall asleep or just to wind down from the day. And the thing is, there's a such thing as entrainment, okay, that principle. So if you stay consistent with like the same setting, at 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or whatever, and your body starts to adapt. And that's a long freaking discussion about how your body adapts to all kinds of different things throughout your day. So that's why keeping a schedule and keeping consistent with stuff in general, health-wise, is really good. But yeah, if it's like the same time every night and then you do the kind of same thing, what'll happen is your body, literally, like if you didn't actually do it that night, your body will actually go into the same state, even if you didn't do it eventually, because it starts to expect that it's going to go into that next state. So you just kind of want to stay consistent, again, with everything. One thing that excites me a lot about the many benefits of infrared is that is one, the increase in nitric oxide. So remember, in another video on YouTube, I was saying you should check out some nitric oxide videos that are out there. Let me see if I got it still pulled up here. Nope, not up here anymore. But basically, increasing this is a very important molecule in the body that affects all kinds of things. You can increase that with infrared and PEMF. But the other reason is because how much infrared helps your mitochondria inside the cells. Thus, it helps your entire body. And it actually helps produce intracellular melatonin. That means melatonin that is inside of your cells. And so as your mitochondria are going through a lot of oxidation, creating a lot of energy, it's kind of like the combustion of your car. Okay, so imagine like some of that smog is not good for you. Okay, imagine that analogy. So melatonin, that molecule that infrared can help produce inside the cell, that's a very, very powerful hormone type of molecule that basically can quelch and calm down that oxidation response. It can protect the mitochondria. It's extremely powerful. It's very anti-disease, anti-cancer, all kinds of things. So it's really amazing that, a quick 20 minutes even, a quick 30 minutes, and you can greatly raise intracellular melatonin production in your, across your entire body, since this is a full-length mat. And I actually, if you want to get then all the longevity, so again, that's good for all kinds of diseases. It's literally good for any type of health goal that you have or condition. I believe, the best way to, that raising of intracellular melatonin, the best time of the day to actually do that is in the morning or before your day. Because throughout your entire day, your body takes a beating, right? Different environmental stressors from all kinds of different things. Just a long list. So you kind of want to protect the cells, okay? You want to optimize all these metabolic functions. If you have produced a lot of intracellular melatonin in the tanks in reserve ahead of the entire day, you kind of buffer all of these different side effects, let's just say. Environmental stressors, internally and externally, when I say environmental, okay? So it's kind of like raising that, in your body and then going throughout your day. That's ideally what I would recommend, or at least trying to get to like midday. And if you can't, at least doing it end of day, where then you can raise again and you can at least buffer, or you can kind of start to go after more the regenerative effects of what happened to you throughout the day by at least doing it in the evening time, okay? I think probably in an ideal world, you would do maybe setting on high, and you do 20 minutes morning time or early in the day, and then 20 minutes later in the evening. And that really, there's a lot of other research on infrared and infrared saunas and infrared and all that kind of stuff, and what happens when you do infrared late in the evening, and some of the benefits on sleep, okay? So that's a whole other thing, okay? So long story short is, depending on the time of the day, your body is primed to function in different ways, okay, with your organs. So you do different modalities to take advantage of different windows of time based on your circadian biology and all the different things happening metabolically, okay? So there's more opportune times to do certain things. Does that make sense? There's like certain supplements that you want, or nutraceuticals you want to do early in the day. Some you want to do later in the day, okay? And again, I coach everybody on my team for all those things inside of Solex. So again, with the infrared mat, there you'll get kind of similar and some slightly different benefits or advantages by doing it early in the day and doing it later in the day. So if you can kind of sandwich yourself in that sort of experience, that's the most optimum way to get max benefits. Infrared benefits, like I'm explaining, and just with intracellular melatonin and all these other different processes it helps with. This is definitely one of those cumulative modalities, so you're really going to want to stick with it. Hey, if you can do it 4 days a week, great. That's awesome. 3 days a week, great. 5 days a week, great. The key is just sticking with it long term. If you can stick with this at least for 7 months, 8 months, in that period of time, almost all the cells in your body die, get recycled, and become brand new. Okay, you actually replace everything in your body. Okay, so if you can there's different modalities that if you can keep consistent with them over that entire period of time, you almost kind of like build a better body. Does that make sense? So part of creating amazing health is knowing, first off, what to take, what to do, which takes a lot of research, but then also doing it over a long enough period of time so that every time you replace all the tissues in your body, you do a better job the next time, or at least slow down the aging aspect, right? Because technically, every 7 months, 8 months, that person is what? 7 or 8 months older, right? So does that mean, so are they anti-aging? Technically no, right? But there are ways of greatly slowing down that process, and there are some aspects that you can actually truly anti-age, okay? Can you 100% do everything? We don't even have that much research to say, yes, across the board, 100%, you can anti-age everything under the sun, okay. But there is a lot that you can do. And there 100% should be some sort of, if you know you're doing things right, you should generally be looking younger and you should be feeling healthier. Like you should notice actually yourself improving in different areas consistently every single year. Okay, that's always a good sign. Myself and other people, when you dial things in right, that is an actual real experience, believe it or not, that you actually feel better this year, 2023, than you did in 2018. That's a real thing. That is possible, okay? And I'm not saying, on every single level, you're definitely younger now. I mean, how would we ever even test that, right? But in the ways that matter, as long as you're mentally sharper than ever, you're feeling better than ever emotionally, energy-wise, you have more energy than ever, you're digesting your food, you're feeling better after meals, better than ever, have less sensitivities, you're getting better sleep, you're waking up with more energy than you did before. I mean, come on, by the time you check off all the boxes, you're like, all right, maybe I am aging, technically, but man, I feel like I'm not. Do you know what I mean? And that's a really great experience to be in that state of being like, man, I feel like I must be, anti-aging, you know what I'm saying? And it's amazing. So this is about dialing in the right protocols, and there are a lot of different modalities here with Solex, so don't feel overwhelmed. I actually will show you exactly what you need, what you don't need. Everybody's different. And there are also great other modalities out there as well beyond this company. And that's what I do. I basically help coach people and guide them on kind of like how to put things together in the right sequence over time to reach that amazing, goal, or it's really an ongoing state of being, right? And to continue to improve and improve and improve.